beginning now, chapter 9, the most confidential knowledge. And I have broken it out into different sections. So verses 1 through 3 is the most confidential knowledge. Please repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realization." So, in chapter 4, what were the two qualifications of Arjuna why Krishna was speaking to him? Friend and devotee. That's all that's necessary. Could be a man, could be a woman, could be Hindu, American, young, old, doesn't matter. If you're Krishna's friend and Krishna's devotee, you're eligible to understand Bhagavad Gita. Good. But now, here we have this third qualification, envy. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd verse, Paramo Nirmatsaranam Satam. Vyasadeva, in the 2nd verse of Bhagavatam says, who will understand this Bhagavatam? You have to give up envy. And where is the original envy? Where did it start? Huh? Yes, it starts with envy of God. I become envious of God, which means I want to be God. I want to be the enjoyer, the controller. Everyone should talk about me. So Krishna says, oh, that's what you want? Well, that can't happen here. I have to set up a dreamland for you. It's called Irvine. Or whatever. Where you can pretend or dream that you're like me. But in my abode, no. In my abode, everybody accepts me as the cynosure, as the center of attention. So envy begins with God. And now, after envy of God, you become envious of God's property. Who was envious of Ram and wanted Ram's property? Who was Ram's property? Sita. Yes. So because he was envious of Ram, then the next thing was he wanted Ram's opulence. He wanted Ram's property, his wife. So the more you have this envy, then the more you are considered demoniac. If you reduce envy, you're becoming more godly. That's why Lord Chaitanya says, what do devotees wear around their necks besides these? Trinadapi. Because that's the key to success. Same thing. Why do we, when we enter the temple, bow down? To show, I'm not envious of you, God. I am your servant. I'm not trying to compete with you. I've come to your temple, look at me. No, we come to the temple as humble servant. So this envy, this is a huge, huge item. This has to be something that I'm, very much, you have to understand this concept of envy. If you can understand this to the extent how it's just the root cause of everything, once you've understood that, then you can make quick spiritual advancement. Even in the Christian Bible, the fall of Adam and Eve was based on envy. Because the devil told Eve, oh, God doesn't want you to eat that fruit because he knows if you eat that fruit, you'll become equal to him. So Eve thought, oh, okay. She ate the fruit, and as soon as she did, she got what is called knowledge of good and evil. And then misery loves company. She gave to her husband, Adam. So even they have this concept. The original sin is envy. You give up envy, you've made it. You are well on your way back to Godhead. Which is why Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Okay, good. That's the first point. Knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence. So this chapter, you're going to get the most confidential knowledge and realization, and as a result, relieved of the miseries. Krishna Kumar, what are the three miseries? Wait, Krishna Kumar, don't be envious. Adi-daivik, Adi-bautik, Adhyatmik. Okay, Adi-bautik, misery is caused by? No, bautik, no. No. Other Wait. Okay, what's Adhyatmik? Yeah, mind and body. Okay, Adi-daivik is the nature, the demigods. And then Adi-bautik is other living entities. Of course, the mosquitoes, they're living entities. But it could be your neighbor. It could be a board member. God brother. Huh? Yes. But you have to deal with it. But I have said there's a fourth one. What's the fourth one? You don't remember? I said it many times. Adi-technic, technology. Aren't we so dependent? One little thing, no electricity. One little thing, no water. No Wi-Fi. So we're so dependent, even in your field. If your truck doesn't work, right? You go to the job, say your instruments don't work, what are you going to do? Yes, so our modern society is so dependent on technology. My experience was when I went to India for the first time in 1975. That's when I realized, oh my God, things are so different in India. You know, it's still like that, isn't it? To some, it's so, here we're so spoiled, right? There, then when you come home, you appreciate, wow, running water, hot water, in-house bathroom. You know, so many things we take for granted. When you go to India, oh boy, I'm really spoiled. Yes, okay, so those are the miseries of material existence. Now comes the best verse to describe what is Bhagavad Gita. This knowledge is the king of education. Number one, Raja Vidya, the king of education. You tell that to your professor on Monday when you go back. Tell him, hey, Bhagavad Gita is the king of education. Your father would do that. He's bold, right? So it's the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. In chapter 4, Krishna said, Rahasyam hiyetad uttamam. This is the topmost transcendental mystery. So same here, secret of all secrets. Next, it is the purest knowledge. Purest knowledge because it's dealing with God, the relationship of the soul with God, There's no material contamination. And because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. So this is another big point. Bhagavad Gita is not just another ism, like Christianity-ism and Muslimism and all the isms. No, this is different. It gives direct perception of the self by realization. In other words, it's not theoretical. When you start to apply Bhagavad Gita, you get some real, tangible, real understanding of I'm not this body. And little by little, Krishna reveals himself, little by little by little. So this Bhagavad Gita, direct perception of the self by that's the perfection of religion. Not Hinduism, Christianity, no. This is the perfection of religion, where you can directly perceive the self. Now, if I perceive myself, I must also automatically perceive something else. What is it? You cannot perceive yourself without this thing accompanying it. What do you think it is? Yes, or God. In other words, when you actually realize yourself, simultaneously you will have some understanding of Krishna. They go hand in hand, not separately. They go hand in hand. There will be some, otherwise, why would anybody spend 30, 40 years spending 2 hours every day doing Hare Krishna chanting? Nobody is going to do that for 30 years every day for 2 hours and not get some direct perception. Trust me. Nobody's going to. I know I wouldn't. I would not have continued unless this verse of Bhagavad Gita was true. Yes. Have I realized Krishna completely? Obviously not. But do I have some? Oh, yes. Because I've seen how Krishna has intervened in my life so many times. Time and time again, I've seen it. And Krishna has made it very clear to me that I know that he knows that I know that he knows that I know. Yes, Krishna is God. Yes. Lastly, it is everlasting. In other words, any advancement you make, that can never be lost. Any little advancement you've made, nobody can take that away from you. It's solid. It's there. People like Prahlad. Next weekend, the appearance day of Nrsingadev is there. Right? So, Hiranyakashipu tried to kill him in so many ways, but Prahlad had realization. There's a description. Prahlad was 5 years old, and when he would play, sometimes he would feel Krishna's hand on his hand. So Prahlad had direct perception. So when he was being tortured, he was not wavering. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And then at the end, when Hiranyakashipu challenged Prahlad, and Prahlad said, "No, you're not God, Father." Because Hiranyakashipu said, "I'm supreme." Prahlad said, "No." Prahlad was bold. He was submissive, but when Hiranyakashipu said, "I'm supreme," Prahlad said, sorry, stop right there. You're not supreme. Vishnu, Krishna, he's supreme. And then Hiranyakashipu said, "So where's your God?" And what did Prahlad say? He's everywhere. And then Hiranyakashipu laughed. All right, is he in the pillar? Was he in the pillar? And he came out as? That's right. Proving what Prahlad said. Yes. It is everlasting, and my favorite, joyfully performed. Does anybody lament while taking prasadam? No. Nobody laments. Maybe in Bhagavatam class they fall asleep. But all the activities, hearing, chanting, remembering, preaching, deity worship, they're all joyfully performed. All the activities. They're happy. They're easy. Even a child can do it, like Prahlad. That's why Prahlad said to his classmates, this Krishna consciousness should begin from what age? Kaumara, age of 5. But the materialists say, when I get old. But then when they get old, they can't do it. Why? Because they're old. And they become so contaminated that they can't do it. So Prahlad says, from the tender age of childhood, like you're doing with your 2 children, right? You're not waiting, right? You're training them up now. You're doing proper duty. Very good. Final verse in this section. Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, which is why Lord Chaitanya says, what distinguishes the different levels of devotee? Their degree of faith. That's the distinguishing, like Prahlad, best example. Firm faith in Krishna. That no matter what his father did, nothing's going to shake Prahlad. So those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of the enemies. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. So yes, this was also mentioned in chapter 6. Arjuna asked the question, what happens to the fallen yogi? And Krishna says they go to the heavenly planets to enjoy for some time. They come down to earth and they can pick up where they left off. Like that. But if you really want to achieve going back to Godhead, you have to be faithful in devotional service, which is why Prabhupada, and he made the disciples vows. How many regulative principles? 1, 2, how about 3.5? 4. Then you have to chant how many rounds? Yes, minimum. That's the ticket. That's the visa, the H1 visa to go back to Godhead. Or you could say you have to fully surrender. Fully. Okay? Otherwise, come back. Why does somebody come back? Because there's still some material desire. You've heard me say many times, Prabhupada told us, even if you have the desire to eat 1 rasgulla, okay, got to come back. But if you become, and chapter 2 said it, you become free from desires, and all you want, like tomorrow I'm going to, at the LA temple, I'm going to speak about Rukmini. So, in Rukmini's letter to Krishna, she said, I want you to come and marry me. And if not, okay, I will perform penances and austerities for 100 births, but I'm not giving up until I become your wife. That's called determination. 100 births. So everybody chant the Maha Mantra.